Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Actually, a video I wasn't going to make. The last time I made this fig video, I was discussing tipping and fertilizing and weeding and all that. And this is a completion to that video, I should say. There were a couple of things. I actually went back and watched my own video to see what I've missed on. And there were a couple of things I wanted to say to you, so let's go ahead and get into it. All right, if you hear my neighbor in the back mowing his lawn, I apologize for that. There's nothing I can do about that. But this is how the figs look like right now. Get into it. There's one thing that has happened that's kind of unfortunate. I got sick. I took my daughter to the clinic for checkups, and we picked up some sort of flu virus, and for the past couple of weeks I've been in terrible shape. Especially the first week, it was really horrible. Like my chest, I couldn't breathe well, runny nose, coughing, sneezing. It's just, yeah, I went through it, but it's not a big deal. I feel great now. I've recovered. I'm good. But the reason why I mentioned that is because last time we talked about tipping and fertilizing and all that, I did it to this row right here. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 figs. Okay. And since I'd done that to them, especially this one right here, this specific variety, look at that. It's covered with the figs. There are figs all over. Okay. This one right here, same thing. Just recently started putting them out. Mini figs. This one right here, I don't believe there's a whole lot of figs on them yet. But you see, it's kind of given the signal to the plant itself to start coming up with some of them. This one, if you remember, they did not have the potential, the double node right there. It's only a single node. That's just a branch for leaves and stuff, right? So this one didn't have the potential for that, and I didn't tip it. But today I'm going to tip it, okay? And the reason why, even if it doesn't have the potential, I'm trying to figure out whether this variety or this specific plant right here is going to respond to my tipping in a certain way and produce those branches on the side, right? And I'm wondering whether those branches are going to have the double nodes now that I've fertilized them with high phosphorus fertilizer. And this one right here has the potential. It has double nodes there. And yeah, so we'll see if we can get something out of this by, waiting for those branches to come up and see. We'll take a look at those nodes and see if they have the double node, the potential for that fig to come up. But yeah, so this row right here, that's the row that we worked on a couple weeks ago. Everything else, I just recently, past couple of days, I went and tipped them, removed some leaves. I removed some of the grass weed. Not this weed right here. This weed is good. I like this because it has a central root system right here, and this is what usually pops up around here when I remove like a certain patch. When I remove the grass off of them, I get this weed, and I get this weed also. This one right here, I get this type of weed, and the reason why I like it is because I have tested this weed. I should have ran a plant ID on it before I made this video, but I'll do that some other time. It's more like, it's very carpety, and it completely blocks the sun from touching the soil, and it blocks anytime you look at it. It has done a really good job blocking some of these grasses from coming back. Okay, so that's fantastic. And they usually have, like I said, a center point for root growth, and they don't spread like the terrible grasses around here. They're not very aggressive, and I have paid very good attention to them as far as their requirements for growing. They don't need much water. They're very drought tolerant, and they'll grow anywhere where there's just sand. So basically, they're not even consuming a whole lot of nutrients, right? So even in nutrient deprived growing media, they're doing a good job. So I guess even being around my plants right here, the amount of good I can get out of them, the amount of value I can get out of them, versus the amount of nutrients and water they can take out of the soil. I think one outweighs the other, and I'm going to keep them kind of growing. And I took the ground cover here because my cats have been destroying it. I've been seeing them coming over here and scratching, and so yeah, like it was bad. And they come here and do it with this one, as you can see right here. This is all cats. This is all cats' work, right? So I don't know what else to do about them, but this one I'm going to keep because it's resistant. They're scratching up to a certain point, but the one that was here is more like fabric type, and the fabric that one had to go because a bunch of little pieces were getting all over the place, and I don't like that. Anyways, let's get back on topic. Yeah, so this row we've done it to them. Very good response from the tree. Wonderful response. And please do remember, if you if you're a newcomer, understand that I have about 13 varieties and different clones from different varieties here. I'm just looking for what works best for me. Okay, so this whole food forest is about 1.5 years old, and I'm trying to find what works here. There isn't a catalog or any real guidance for this my specific area for doing something similar to what I'm doing. So I might be the first guy to be out there giving some people some good information, you know, about creating food forests and what would work and what wouldn't work. Now, I can't realistically test everything. I'm not financially capable of just buying everything, right? But I have so much. I have almost all species that are available to be bought at nurseries and especially from online, but not everything. But I have a lot. I have a good amount of variety here. So in due time, I'll be able to let people know what's going on. Like for an example, the cherries over there. Not many people want to grow cherries in Southeast Texas, but I have a theory about it. I have a certain approach, and in the next couple of and in the coming years, I'll be able to deliver you with a good piece of advice on whether you should grow them or not. But I have different varieties, 3 varieties that are low chill, So anyways, what I'm trying to say is I have 13 varieties here, and some respond wonderfully to what I'm trying to do here, and others did not respond as wonderful. And the reason why is because if you're a newcomer, please understand, all of my figs here, everything you're seeing in this patch, everything was dead this past winter. They all died back to the ground, as you can see, right? And I lost all that mature growth from past year when I put them in the ground. So I had to reset, and that is not very optimal, but this is what I have to work with. So this video not only concerns people in the south, but it concerns people that are that have really cold weather where their figs die back to the ground every year. Do understand there are some varieties like this one right here. I believe this is a LSU either purple or gold. When the time comes, I'm going to confirm to you what varieties I've been working with here. Okay, I think this is long neck, yellow long neck, I believe. So yeah, we'll sit down. We'll kind of we'll make a video to cap it up and go back and talk about the summary of this growing process. Okay. But as far as today, what I wanted to talk about at this stage right now, these are the ones that have received my tipping in pruning and fertilizing and weeding, and specifically these couple right here have responded wonderfully. Now at this stage, when you start seeing fruit development, please understand you need to water regularly. Okay, the soil has to stay wet. These fruits will not come up. They will not swell up well. Some of them will shrivel up and drop. Some of them will just turn yellow and dry up and die and then drop. So if you're wondering why your fruit is doing that, if you have if you're growing fig trees, this is one of the reasons why when the actual fruit, when you start seeing it come up, you need to start watering. Okay, and I can give you a general guideline for what you can do. And I can only speak for my sandy soil here. I have a very, very sandy soil, okay? So I can only speak for that. I can't really speak for clay soil. because I don't have much experience with that. Like every time I've done something, it's either with sandy soil mainly, or some sort of highly organic growing media. So I can't really speak for clay soil. Maybe somebody else can supplement on that. Some other channels probably talk about that, somebody with that kind of issue. But it's more challenging because sometimes you don't really know when to water clay soil. But as far as fast draining soil like sand, I can tell you, and this is my general guideline for watering at this stage when you see actual fig development, right? And I'm not talking about this specifically. I'm talking about like when you actually start seeing the fruit, even if it's tiny. All right, so let's talk about people that are, let's say, in California. You're dealing with weather in the 70s and 80s. You guys are very lucky, very fancy people. Yeah, so conditions like that, you want to water maybe once a week, okay? And you don't want to overdo it, because even in sandy soil, you can still get root rot if you overwater. And it's almost like any plant, you know what I mean? Like if you water it and it's kind of cool, temperate weather, like you will get problems, right? So 70, 80s, I would say once a week. And if you go around and you stick your finger in the soil a couple of inches deep, and if it feels moist for whatever reason, if there's some sort of cover, ground cover, mulch, whatever, maybe you don't even need to do every 7 days. Maybe you can go up to like 10 days or up to 2 weeks. Okay, so depending, like some people actually check their soil moisture level before they water. So, and that's recommended if you don't want to over water. If you just go ahead and do once a week, I don't think you can do too much damage to the plant if you do that. Okay, so even if the soil is slightly wetter than usual, it's probably good for the swelling of the fruit. Okay, so in a temperate climate or somewhere where it's nice and rather cool, 70s, 80s in the midsummer, California people probably, yeah. And if you're somewhere where it's upper 80s and you're talking about somewhere like, let's say, upper 80s to up to mid 90s, I'd recommend every 2 days, really. You got to do it, because otherwise I've noticed that some of the fruit will drop somewhere like, yeah, high 80s, low 90s. The fruit will drop if you don't water every couple of days, and especially when you're following an approach like mine, where you have like multiple leader trunks like this. I have, like, on this one right here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 nine trunks on one plant. Okay, and this is a very dense planting too, so there's barely any space wasted. Yeah, so when you're dealing with this, once every 2 days is almost minimum. Okay, if you have sandy soil. Now, if you're talking about mid 90s, upper 90s, yeah, that's once a day watering, and preferably probably in the morning, so the plants don't get stressed. If you can't do it in the morning, if you do it like afternoon, just make sure you don't touch the leaves as much. Keep the water off the leaves. At this stage right now, specifically for my region, Southeast Texas, we're starting to get some rust fungus around here. And let's see, like this pow started getting it. And I know I've been keeping the leaves dry, and there's plenty of air circulation as well. You see, here we go. We started getting it. I'm not going to spray anything. I don't feel the need to do that. But yeah, just want to let you know that this is happening, especially in southern United States. This rust fungus is very common and available everywhere. So especially with the figs and plants that have this kind of matte textured leaves. They're not glossy. They don't have that protective layer. If this gets wet and it stays wet for a little bit, the fungus spores are everywhere, so they'll get there and start populating on your trees, and figs will start dropping their leaves once they sense a significant amount of rust fungus on them. Like this one right here, I think it's beginning to get that signal to drop the leaves. So yeah, this one I might kind of allow to produce some more branching. I mean, since I tipped it a couple of days ago, really, this one she started producing. but it's too early to see the development of all the other figs that I'm expecting to get out of it. But I am worried about the signal to drop these leaves. So if the tree started giving signals like that and all these leaves start dropping, that might be a problem because we don't have enough energy production. What I might actually do, I might actually reduce the number of the trunks, and I would let maybe a couple of other branches to come up and continue to produce what do you call them, leaves for me, because I'm at that point I might be needing leaves. So yeah, anyways, remember about the watering. I was talking about areas that are low 90s to the upper 90s to triple digits before hitting that 100 mark. Yes, once a day, preferably in the morning, a good drench to the ground. I have established a sprinkler system for myself. I also leave the hose running sometimes, just leave it run. If you're in areas where about triple digits, like Phoenix, Arizona, right? Those guys, I know there's a huge growing community there. So for you guys, and you probably already know this, you probably need to do this twice a day. We're talking 105. I've seen it. I'm looking at these temperatures on the internet. It says 112, 115, I believe, at some points, with very high heat index, and sometimes it's windy, so the plants are getting destroyed. So you guys need to do twice a day. I'd recommend once in the morning and once afternoon, like at this time, like before sunset, right? And yes, it's okay for the soil to be wet at nighttime for areas like that, right? Yeah, I think it's necessary, really. Like, and the reason why I say it's necessary at night is because the plant needs to have time to suck that moisture up before it evaporates again, right? So you're doing it before sunset and you're doing it in the morning. That sets up the plant for success as far as retaining some or receiving enough moisture out of the ground before it evaporates again. And like I said, I'm talking about people with just sand and not enough ground cover, right? So if you have like a highly mulch soil, maybe you don't need to do it twice a day. Maybe you need to do it just once. And I prefer for areas like with like Arizona temperature, or some parts of Cali too, right? So because Cali has some weird weather as well. I would say do it at night, because the plant needs enough time to absorb all that moisture, and maybe have some of it even remain up to the morning, up to maybe even noon, before it completely evaporates again. But yeah, obviously I do recommend some sort of mulch. I haven't been able to do that this year. I've been just getting sick, like left and right, bunch of viruses. You got the coronavirus, you got flu virus here and there. So I picked up like 3-4 viruses in 1 year. So this it's not something I can do about it. You just go to a store or a clinic or a bathroom. Somebody breathed that has the virus, and now you got it. This is not something I can do anything about. Vaccines are a joke, and they don't do much really, But anyways, they might do more damage than help. But I don't want to get into that. That's for each their own. That's your opinion to make. Okay, so anyways, that's as far as watering, right? As far as fertilizing, I would say, for an example, I'm in Southeast Texas. Things get kind of getting cold in November, so I still have a good period of time, a few months to go back and consider, my growing situation. So for me, I'm going to do it once a month at this point. Okay, so I already fertilized, I already done that. Next month, I'm going to fertilize again with low nitrogen, high phosphorus. What is it? I use like 10, 30, 20. Okay, that's what I use for my figs. So I'll do it once more, and at that point, after that, it's negligible as far as the benefit you can get out of fertilizing, because the plant is like, even in like late October, I start getting that dormancy signals. Like, hey, I'm feeling some chilly weather. It's time to kind of change the chemical composition in its veins, and starts kind of considering dormancy. So maybe I will fertilize one more, but that's it. Okay. And hopefully next season, what I'm hoping to do is I would prune like this is about 6 feet tall. I would prune them at 3 feet, right, and then let these new buds out there. I'll let them come up and produce new branches for me. And at that level, right, when it start producing new branches, it'll produce a couple of inches and then immediately start putting potential for fruit development, like fruit growth. So I can, right, so 3 feet, more branching, right? I'll probably reduce the number of trunks that I have here, right? Because each one of these main trunks will probably produce a couple of new branches, right? So I don't have to have 8. I'll probably have 4 maybe, or 3. And from that, each one of those trunks will have 2, 3 other branches, right? So if you think about it, I'm technically increasing the number of trunks, not decreasing it. I just did this way because they all died back to the ground. So this is a complete restart. I will be selecting the thickest, best trunks at that stage, but that's not here right now. That's just in the future. I'm just giving you a heads up on my plan and what to do next with these. But as far as now, I was talking about fertilizer. I'm going to fertilize once more in a month, and that's it. I'm going to put this plant to kind of, I'm going to put it in dormancy state until things get a little cool, and we'll start taking cuttings and making more figs and probably giving stuff away and all that. Yep. So that's that. Another thing I wanted to tell you about is, for an example, this fig right here is a very high producer of everything, right? It's been a high producer of trunks. It's been a high producer of new growth at the bottom. It's been a high producer of leaves and lateral growth as well. So I've been tipping this continuously. I've been taking the lateral branches off because it's been given the signal to itself right there. See? It's been given a signal to the plant, and it wants to continue to make branches. And I don't want that because I already see the fruit, and I'm happy with the number of fruit on this plant, right? It doesn't have to be completely covered, but there's a good amount of fruit on it for 6-7 months worth of growth, right? So I'm okay with that. So I'm not going to allow it to make more branches. Now, if it was infected with rust, and it started to show signs like that one over there, which I'm going to have to go back and kind of consider removing some of these lower ones, because the lower number of infected leaves, the slower, it's inevitable at this point, but it would be, I can slow it down, I can slow the spread down a little bit, so all of my other trees won't get it as fast. I just need to keep this going to the end of the season, and then I don't care at that point because all the leaves will fall anyways, and I'm trimming and pruning these trees regardless, right? So, there's no point of continuing to worry about that. I just wanted to be a slow process, and by me growing them this way and providing them with a lot of air circulation, especially from the ground, right, where the moisture usually comes from, pruning them in this way up top, right? So this allows for a significant slowdown in that fungus spread until wintertime comes, and usually freezing weather kills the fungus and doesn't allow it to continue to spread. And those leaves, I will take them, I will collect them. I don't usually keep fig leaves under figs, right? Especially if they're infected, right? I will take those leaves and I'll mulch something else with it that doesn't get infected. Do you see what I'm saying? Like maybe citrus, or I don't know, like pomegranate or something else that doesn't seem to be bothered by like jujube maybe. Oh no, actually jujube seems to have problems with fungus sometimes too. But you get the point. I don't like to leave infected leaves under the trees for next season for that infection to come up even faster, right? So it will come up again because it's in the air, right? But if you leave it under the trees, that probably makes it come back even faster. Okay, so let's move on. So I talked about the branching, right? If you already have the fruit on, if the fruit have developed and you're happy with the number of the fruit, do not allow branching. Okay, you have enough leaves and you have enough fruit. So what do you need to do right now is just keep the plant happy, keep it safe from the fungus. Keep the ground moist. let it continue to get the nutrients and the water it needs to swell up those newly developed figs and ripen them in time. Okay. So yeah, one more thing I'd like to talk about before I end this video is, for an example, this variety here is doing really well. This variety over there, which I believe was some sort of Desert King variety. It's a healthy plant, but it does not want to produce any type of fruit, even after tipping, even after fertilizing with low nitrogen and all that, high phosphorus fertilizer. It doesn't want to produce the fruit yet. So I tipped them anyways, obviously, even though I didn't see the potential and the nodes to. It didn't have dual nodes, so I know there's no figs coming out of that one, out of that node. But I'm wondering, like I said, very similar to that one over there, I'm wondering if I tip them and wait for those branches to come up, are those branches going to have the potential to develop figs? Are they going to have a double node or a single node like it's been producing? But, you know, like this one, for an example, I'm not going to be able to deliver you much information on it because it's just it's not cooperating with my growing methods, right? And I don't know what else to do about it as far as like growing from the ground, right? This variety right here, Desert King, or any variety coming out of this specific fig subspecies. Do you see? Like anyone that looks like that. I have another one here that's similar, right? See? This kind of leaf, this subspecies, and I apologize, I don't know what it's called, and not all figs are the same. They belong to different families of figs, right? So the one that comes from this one right here doesn't seem to be producing anything if it's coming out of the ground the first year. This one, like this is a clone of that one I show you up front. You know, I tipped them a couple of days ago and all the figs started to swell up, new ones starting to pop. It's trying to make new branches, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these branches because I'm just happy with the number of fruit that's already on it. Okay, so I don't want branching. But that's what I wanted to say. It's just, you know, I wanted to point out the variety issue that I have here. Okay, so keep that in mind. This still is part of an early experiment, and we're gonna. I don't know if I can make my mind on this one this season, but what I can tell you is, if you're part of those colder regions, you do want to consider a different variety like that LSU I showed you, like that yellow long neck. They're complying. They're listening to me and kind of trying to, you know, make me happy, just following the process that I'm implementing here. But these kinds right here, they're not listening at all. They're very stubborn, and they want to do something specific. They're not wanting to produce fruit. So yeah, there's not much I can say about this. I will let you know what I'm going to do with them. I'm hoping that we don't continue to have these extremely cold freezes with the snow and all that, because it's extremely unlikely here in Southeast Texas. We shouldn't even touch the single digit here. But from my as far as I know, this happened a couple of times before. It killed the citrus groves that used to grow around here. And I live somewhere where, like, close to a city called Orange, right? So yeah, they called it Orange because they had orange groves around here, around Southeast Texas and Louisiana, you know. So I believe they were hit by a whole bunch of nasty freezes, like single-digit freezes, and some wind chill, and killed all their groves. And that's what happened to me last year. I was able to protect my citrus. I did lose a couple of them, but as far as the figs, I didn't even know I needed to do that to them. I thought figs can take it, but they couldn't. I think it was the snow, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know, but single-digit freeze we had. It was terrible. But hopefully, this freeze, this coming winter, I'm praying that maybe we stay somewhere above the 15-degree mark. Okay, with my pruning and mulching, I'm hoping that I can preserve last year's woods, last year's trunk, or should I say trunks, and then build on that. And that's why this one right here specifically. This kind of variety, or the subspecies of the fig family variety, and the cultivars that came from it from breeding. Yeah, I'm hoping I can kind of get a real idea on where I can take it from there after leaving about 3-4 feet worth of trunk growth off the ground. But right now, as far as starting from the ground up and expecting figs out of this one, I believe my chances have been minimized to a what do you call it, like an unfortunate level, right? So a sub exciting level. I'm just not feeling that I'm gonna get anything out of this one. The other varieties, and thank God I have a lot of clones of similar varieties that I know have produced for me before, so it's wonderful that I have more of those. Yeah, like look at this one right here. Yeah, so the majority of my plants have started producing figs, you know, but not all of them. And like I said, this is variety dependent. Now, if I was to go back and get rid of all those varieties and replace them with this one, and the long neck, the Italian white, the LSU purple, LSU gold, I know those ones are producers, right? So I can realistically get this whole patch. I can go back and literally like remove all the above ground wood every year and have them come up in this way, and I know I can get figs out of them, and a good amount of figs too, every year reliably, just by following my growing technique that I've been posting about on YouTube. But I think I've pointed out the couple of things I wanted to talk about. Like I said, do not allow, if you have enough figs on your trees at this stage, if you have enough leaves and they're not diseased leaves, don't allow any type of leaf or branch growth, whether it's from the ground or the main trunks. Yeah. Other than that, do remember to water regularly, especially when you see the fruit come up. And if you're in an area like mine where your growing season extends to like early November, then I would say fertilize one more, and that's it. There's not much else to say about this. And as far as what I'm seeing, tree right here, honestly, the next video I'm gonna make, yes, that one is gonna be about me picking some of these figs and enjoying them and letting you know the taste difference and what's my preference and all that, and where to go from there. But as far as figs, we're getting close to the promised land here. All right. Once again, if you have any questions, please ask them. And if I've missed something, I hope I haven't missed anything. I talked a lot about everything that I wanted to talk about, but sometimes there's always something in there that I've missed. If I've done that, I will try to. I'd like to look at my videos and make sure that I'm pointing out all the things that I wanted to point out. So I'll look at the video, and if there's something else, I will discuss it in the next video. But it might be late for some of those tips and information, but it's better late than ever. I'll still mention them so you can get a good starting base for next season. Okay, because what I'm doing here is like every time I'm posting, people might not be following at the same rate that I'm working with. So maybe next year somebody would look at my catalog of videos and the stages that things have went through and start replicating at that point. But you know, this year I just wanted to put this information out. I wanted to put this content out so somebody could have a reliable base of fig growing, especially in the south, because the closer you are to me, the closer you are to my growing condition and all that, you know, the more reliable the results it'll be for you. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.